the tweet from Kirk Bowles. Here's also the updated Kansas. Again, this is what everyone expected, but now Jason Bean will start. Brett McMurphy, among many others, he will start. Jalen Daniels remains doubtful, who's now missed, I think, at least 4 games. Bean will be making his 4th start. And there were some responses to this based on whoever the writer was that put it up, is that, man, this Jalen Daniels thing is kind of weird. But when you have lower back injury or a lower back problem, again, it's a tough deal. So Jason Bean gets the start for KU at home against Oklahoma.
Yeah, not a surprise. He's been playing pretty well for them. I know you'd rather have Jalen Daniels when you're going up against a team like Oklahoma, but you never know. It's at home. Things get weird. Oklahoma got weird last week, so we'll see how they bounce back after what happened against UCF.
Yeah, I think the UCF game is actually, potentially bad news for Kansas because it really alerted OU to some of their issues that they can then try and shore up this week. I think OU is still a team that, had that game pretty well within control for the most part. But, yeah, UCF made it super dicey there at the end and, made it a much more of a difficult outing than I think a lot of people expected. So, the positivity side of me thinks that will be a learning lesson or at least a little bit of a wake-up call, and Oklahoma comes out super sharp knowing the stakes and knowing that, it's going to be a big atmosphere with this being the last KU-Oklahoma game for a while, and also a road environment and big noon kickoff and all those types of things that can make things bigger than they otherwise would be. But, yeah, KU's got, a great quarterback, not great, but they've got a good quarterback in Jason Bean, who's – he's as much the starter now as Jalen Daniels is. As far as this year goes, he's played way more at this point, so they should be fine with him. He threw for a lot of yards last week. He can. I know you brought up his running. His running was more in his earlier days when they weren't as good, and he hasn't run as much this year, but he's capable of doing that. Although I wonder if they're hesitant because of, well, then where do you turn if Jason Bean gets hurt?
Right.
So you got to protect him now. Just unfortunate, though, on Jalen. So that's going to be an interesting game, but, unfortunate on Jalen Daniels. Said it yesterday, said it multiple times at this point. It's not the Cam Rising situation, but it almost starts to feel like that. It's just that he doesn't have the debilitating season-ending injury that he's, been dealing with and then, made things so questionable. We thought he was coming back and healthy and ready to go, and this thing's just been lingering. So it's a bad deal for the Jayhawks fans and just a kind of a not a fun way for him to, most likely end his Kansas career. So hopefully sooner rather than later, but we're getting down to the final month. There's 5 games left. He's not playing this week, so there's 4 games, then a bowl game if they get eligible, which they are 1 win away from, so they will. Just probably not this weekend, but, yeah, when is he going to be ready, if at all, at this point?
And who knows, maybe there's still at least the outside shot, although it is not much of an opening to be in the Big 12 championship game if they were to make a run, which means they have to pretty much win out. Mike Bean is a big KU fan, saying that their backup to Bean is a true freshman. So there we are with that. Mike, thank you for that information. Speaking of Kansas and OU, yesterday morning, remember a jock radio station in Kansas City was upset that KU fans had not bought out the tickets. It's now an official sellout. KU fans, Oklahoma will bring their large contingent as they always do. It should be at Memorial Stadium on Saturday. Big Fox noon kickoff will be there. Big noon kickoff will be there. I think it's going to be I think this will be a 40-34 type game, in my opinion.
It was like a morning show, like Big Stinky and the Wheeze kind of a show.
No, I think this guy was actually, or maybe does morning sports.
Okay. Well, I'm sure he may take credit for this anyway because it's what we radio people like to do. But if it was Big Stinky and the Wheeze or whatever they want to call themselves, then
Butch and Chop.
What was that? Yeah, I was on a show like that. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, you got to give the students time to figure it out, or people time to decide. Not everybody is Texas A&M or Iowa State and essentially gets 5% away from a sellout as soon as the tickets go on sale. So everywhere is different. It's a problem everywhere. And Kansas is, again, new to this. So, maybe it took them a second to realize, oh, hey, we better go get our tickets this week.
Well, they got the job done in the end, no matter how much prodding there was earlier in the week. Yeah, I do think that was probably a kick in the butt, I guess, by a fan or, just somebody invested that wanted to see them sell this thing out. So they did, just needed a couple days more than you liked to do it, but they got the job done. And, I wonder how much of that's going to be crimson when all is said and done. But I'd imagine there's going to be a good bit of blue there at home, and a great atmosphere. Last time, again, Oklahoma may go there for quite some time. Last time they might play for quite some time, and this isn't just a Big 12 thing. This goes back even further, right? So this is one that should be pretty special for I don't know how much for the Oklahoma side. They're kind of too good for it all, I feel like, in some of these cases, sort of like Texas of on their way out. But I'd have to imagine for some parts of the fan base, maybe even playing KU for a really long time. So I'm sure there's some familial ties and whatnot in certain situations. So this will be the end of an era for at least right now. And I'd expect a lively atmosphere. And KU absolutely has a chance if they play well. Or if Oklahoma, like last week, kind of shoots themselves in the foot on occasions, and that adds to it. UCF just couldn't finish the job. But KU's a talented team, so let's see what happens.